Hi, so I got these new shoes off of Amazon and I'm absolutely loving them at the moment. The reason why I love these shoes so much is because they're meant to mimic more of our unnatural state. So because the soles are so thin and flexible, as we're walking, we're activating the muscles we would be activating as if we weren't to be wearing shoes in the first place. I know a lot of people just ditch shoes completely and just go off what nature gave us. But I'm living in London, yeah. I do not trust the floor we walk on. I do not trust the fact that I'm not going to stand on some kind of druggie's needle or some kind of disgusting chewing gum. I don't know. I just don't trust it. And the pavement itself is very cold, especially in winter. I wanted to go for some kind of protection, and this is what I've gone for. So check it out. I found these on Amazon after looking through this blog post of affordable barefoot shoes. Initially, I have tried the Vivo barefoot shoes and I much prefer those to these, to be honest, because the quality of the material is a lot better. But well, these are actually quite good for the price I got them for. As you can see, they can roll right up into a ball, so these could be really good for travel. The material here that's used, they're typically used on shoes for water activity sports. So the fabric is very breathable, and if you get them wet, if it's raining, or if you do use it for water activities, they dry really, really quickly. The fabric I found is very stretchy because of the price that I bought them at. As you can see in the seams, they aren't as good quality as they could be. But overall, I find these very, very comfortable, and I don't feel like my foot has been restricted in any way. Shoes nowadays will have insoles in them, and they end up ruining and weakening our arches and our foot muscles. Because of that reason, people like to wear these types of shoes because it helps cure things like flat foot, because it strengthens the muscles in your foot naturally. You don't need to wear an insole. They prevent your feet from being warped, like quite a lot of people get bunions. That's because the shoes we're wearing are too small and they're really restricting our feet. So it's creating a whole host of problems. Actually, the problem I was getting quite a lot is my knees. My knees were starting to really hurt me because I think my feet are inward rolling, so they would roll inwards towards each other, and I think the way my foot was creating the dent into the sole from just wearing it over time, it was exaggerating the inroll and creating quite a lot of pressure on my knees, like the inner parts of my knees. So I thought to myself, I need to kind of figure this out, and there were two options: get an insole or buy barefoot shoes. And barefoot shoes are the type of shoes where it basically just doesn't have an insole. And I used to have a lot of insoles as a kid, and yes, I guess that works, but honestly I want to strengthen up my feet naturally. And so you can get many different types of shoes like this. I mean, the first pair of shoes that I got were barefoot were Vivo barefoot shoes, but number one, they were very expensive. So although I did get them like a year ago or so, I could afford it back then, but nowadays I can't actually afford it because, you know, quarantine and lockdown, and quite a lot of people are in the same situation. So I found these really cheap ones on Amazon, and they're actually water shoes. They're for men and women, but I'm walking around in them and they just feel so comfortable. So the main reason to why I got these shoes in the first place is because I actually lost my Vivo barefoot shoes, which sucks because they were so expensive and I was in love with them. But to be honest, I'm finding these ones absolutely fine for a tenth of the price, you know. They feel very flexible, the soles are very flexible and malleable compared to normal shoes where their sole is very stiff. So I much prefer to wear these when I'm walking around in general. I feel more bouncy in a way, much more free, and more comfortable in general. I particularly love walking over grassy areas simply because I can feel what's underneath my feet. I feel like I'm being much more conscious of where I'm putting my feet as I'm walking, and because of that, it just feels a lot more grounding, and the experience in general is a lot more pleasant.
If I had the money, honestly, I would go for something more like Vivo Barefoot because they just look more casual and they look like normal shoes, where these ones don't. They really do look like active sportwear shoes and they don't look the best, but for health reasons, I'm going to carry on wearing them because they just feel really good to wear and I really do feel free. I can go jogging. There's a whole different style. When you go jogging with barefoot shoes, you have to jog in a completely different way. You cannot just go heel toe as you usually would because you don't have the cushioning anymore and you end up actually putting pressure on your knees. Naturally, the way we're supposed to be running is actually the ball of your foot first and then the rest of your foot, because it acts as a natural kind of suspension in a way. It kind of relieves a lot of pressure off your knee as you're doing that. And you know what, you do get a lot of pressure even if you wear normal shoes and you go jogging, you go heel first, you do get a lot of pressure there and it does damage the knee. So wearing barefoot shoes kind of forces you to not do that and trains you to move in a way that's completely different and that's more natural. So yeah, there's quite a lot of benefits to these shoes and I'm loving them so far. I really enjoy wearing barefoot shoes.
Most barefoot shoes have a wide fit, so it allows your foot to really breathe and stretch out to its natural form, whereas in normal shoes you find that they get molded into an unnatural thin shape and it ends up overcrowding the toes. You get a lot of issues with your back and your knees and your posture. With this, it really allows your foot to form into its natural shape, use its natural muscles, and I'm happy to say that my knee pain has completely gone, so I'm not going back to normal shoes anytime soon.
Please give my video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this content. I'm still a very small channel where the algorithm hasn't quite noticed me yet, so any subscriptions or comments or likes will help me quite a lot. So yes, I hope you're all staying safe during this time of lockdown and quarantine and trying to stay as positive as you can. Peace out.